term. So here's some of the evidence they use in textbooks to support their theory. If I had a theory that the moon is made of green cheese, that's a dumb theory, but there is no law against dumb theories, fortunately, okay? But then suppose I said NASA proved it when they went there in 1973 on a secret mission and found the moon is made of green cheese. Well, now see, it's okay to have a dumb theory, but it's wrong to lie about my evidence just to get people to believe me. And I think it's real seriously wrong to accept tax dollars to get paid while I lie to support my theory. And that's what happens in this university, okay? They say, we've got evidence from fossils. I heard that several times when Dr. Sherman was speaking. Fossils. Now stop and think about it. No fossil could possibly count as evidence for evolution. No fossils count. You can't prove those bones had any kids, let alone different kids. And he talked about drawers after drawers of all these mollusks at Harvard. Well, that's wonderful. None of them show any evolution, though. What they show is drawers after drawers after drawers of dead things proving a flood in the days of Noah. Now, evolution is based on two faulty assumptions. Number one, they assume mutations will make something new and better. And number two, natural selection will make it survive and take over the population. By the way, evolution is a religion of death. That's how things get ahead. Things have to die. It's true mutations happen, but they don't cause any evolution. Darwin said, it's a truly wonderful fact that all animals and all plants throughout all time and space should be related to each other. Darwin observed 14 kinds of finches on the Galapagos Islands, and he correctly concluded they had a common ancestor, a bird. But then he incorrectly concluded that that was enough evidence to prove that birds are related to bananas, which is what he says in his book right here, and what Dr. Shermer believes, and what some of you believe. Now, if you want to believe birds are related to bananas, I don't care what you believe, but don't call it science. Admit it's a religion, and go start yourself a private school and teach anybody else that wants to come pay and learn it, okay? But get it out of the tax-funded school system. It's a lie. There's no proof any animals are related to different kinds of animals. Okay. Mutations do not produce any kind of evolution. Anybody that studies the subject will tell you that. Mutations scramble information that's already existing. Here's a five-legged bull. There's no new information added. A short-legged sheep. Again, no new information. It's a loss of information. Here's a two-headed turtle. That's a mutant. It's not ninja, but he's mutant. He's going to freeze first winter because nobody makes a double-neck turtleneck sweater, okay? No. Scrambling up existing gene code will not give you something totally new. That's all mutations do, is scramble up things. This textbook says, normal fruit flies have 2 wings. This mutant has 4. This rare mutation, like most mutations, is harmful. Watch what it says now. Beneficial mutations are the raw material for natural selection. Excuse me? Why don't they give an example of a beneficial mutation? Why did they show us a bad one? And there are millions of those, happen all the time. But they told us the good ones is how it works. Show me a good one. You know why they didn't show us a good mutation? Nobody's ever seen one. One guy said, oh yeah, people in Africa that get sickle cell anemia are less likely to get malaria. Well, that's brilliant. That's like saying if you cut off your legs, you can't get athlete's foot. Both sickle cell and malaria are negative. You think that process is going to turn a rock to a human in 4.6 billion years? That's the one they always bring out. Well, if you think that's going to do it, I admire your faith. I don't admire your intelligence, but I do admire your faith, okay? Natural selection selects. It doesn't create anything. It's a selection process. Creationists thought of it first. Natural selection is not a creative force. It can't create anything. It selects. That's all it does. It can't create a thing, okay? If you worked in a factory that produced cars, and your job was to select the good ones to go through and select the bad ones to go out, be fixed or, scrapped, how long would it take that selection process of letting good cars through to change the car to an airplane? It'll never happen. See, the natural selection is never going to change the animal to something else. It's just going to make sure you get a good species of whatever it is, whether it's cows or corn, okay? You may get a big dog or a little dog, but you get a dog every single time. And I have 5-year-olds. When I do this test, almost always they get it. I'll say, here we have a dog, a wolf, a coyote, and a banana. Which one is not like the others? Yeah, the banana. The Bible says they bring forth after their kind, not species, kind. Okay, and that's all we've ever observed. Variations happen, but they have limits. Farmers have been trying to get bigger pigs for a long time, but they'll never get a pig as big as Texas. Roaches become resistant to pesticides, but they will never become resistant to a sledgehammer. Okay? They always still produce the same kind of plant or animal. No new information is created. It's always scrambling existing information. That's all we observe. Now, science is what we can see and study and test. If you want to believe it goes beyond that, that's fine. I don't care what you believe. But it's not science. No new information is added, okay? The gene pool of the new variety is always more limited. They can take a herd of dogs or a flock of dogs or whatever you want to call them and select the gene code to get a little tiny dog or a great big dog. They have the genetic variety in the original gene code. You can select for a slice of the gene code and get a particular trait that you want, okay? Long tail feathers on a bird. Can't fly anymore, but you get really long tail feathers. Okay, good. But you didn't create anything. You selected part of the gene pool that was already existing. Somebody kept breeding dogs till they got a Chihuahua. All that time and money to make a dog that is 100% useless. How long would the Chihuahuas last in the real world? Yeah, go ahead, make my day. Right, yeah. Genetic information is lost, it's not added. There's no new. Real evolution would require an increase in genetic complexity. You got to take the gene pool of a rock, which is nothing, and develop the gene pool of every living thing on Earth today. Talk about a genetic bottleneck. Take a look at the gene code of a rock sometime, okay? There's a lot of kinds of corn in the world, okay? They probably had a common ancestor. Corn. You never get a hamster or a tomato or a whale to grow on your corn stalk, though, okay? Sure, there's a lot of varieties out there. They call it divergent evolution. Oh, it's not divergent evolution. It's still a dog, okay? They show the kids 5 kinds of dogs and say, oh, see, that's divergent evolution. No, it's a variety of dog. It's proof what the Bible says. They bring forth after their kind. There's a lot of varieties of horses out there. Big horses and little horses. We had the world's smallest horse visit our museum. My granddaughter liked riding it, I guess, but they crossbreed horses. They get Zorses, Zonkies, Zionis, Zedonks, and Shebras. They crossbreed all every which way because they're the same kind of animal. There's a herd of zebroids running around. So there's no question there's a lot of variation available. The question is, does it go any farther? Now, if Dr. Shermer wants to believe this variation we observe, which is science, can be extended, extrapolated to mean infinite variation, he's welcome to believe that, but he just left science. And why he's not skeptical of his own belief, I don't understand. He's skeptical of a lot of things he ought to be skeptical of. Turn your focus on your own belief, Mike. I want to help you here. That's what I'm here for, okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Had a little report of some people behaving badly. Let's respect our neighbors and enjoy the debate. Dr. Shermer will have 10 minutes for rebutting what Dr. Hovind just taught.
Wow. You're the only guy, can't I know, and give a 2-hour lecture in 25 minutes. Sounds pretty good. Shouldn't have had that beer before. Oh, well, but I'm having a good time. All right. He brought the beer up. Okay, so Ken Hovind has announced at the beginning that his purpose here is to win over non-believers to Christ and me. I even made the slide. I was impressed. Thanks. And even got my name right. I was in South Dakota 2 nights ago, and a guy was passing out literature about why people shouldn't believe my lecture. And he said, Michael Sherman is going to tell you things you shouldn't believe. I said, well, okay, where is this guy? Anyway, it's Shermer. At any rate, I was actually once a evangelical, born-again Christian. I accepted Christ in 1971, and I went to Pepperdine University to major in theology.